Hey, what is up guys? In today's video we're going to be taking a look at this GoPro gimbal. Now this is a Terra gimbal. It's called the T3D version 4, or it's also called the TL3T05. It's some weird names, but this is a metal brushless 3-axis gimbal for your GoPro Hero sized action cameras. For example, I have the Firefly 8S here, which is working really nice. I'm just going to disconnect it real quick. Alright, so I picked this up a while ago. I wanted a Hero instead for the GoPro session sized one, and I accidentally got one for the Hero, and I didn't have any Hero cameras, and now I do with this Firefly cameras. I actually picked up two of these really good cameras, 4K, up to 4K, and they do 1080p at 120 frames per second, which is really insane. And the quality is absolutely phenomenal. The review video will be upcoming very soon when we attach this to the drone. So this is just going to be a setup tutorial and to help you understand, because there's really not much documentation how to go about setting this up. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at how to set this guy up. So a couple of things about the specs here. This thing takes up to 3 to 6S LiPo, and it does have a 5-volt regulator on board to power your receiver. And for input, it takes either PWM or S-Bus or PPM. But when I first got it, I was afraid because it didn't mention anything about Hakcrc S-Bus. Now, Hakcrc S-Bus is inverted. However, it handled the inversion beautifully. I didn't have to do any mods, tricks, or whatever. I just plugged it in, set it up in the computer, and then it was good to go. Now, this thing does come with the software. The software is on Terra. It's very difficult to figure out which software it is on the Terra website. So I took the liberty of downloading it. It's around 20 megabytes. But for some reason, off their Chinese servers, it took forever. So I've gone ahead and took the liberty to download it and upload it for you guys on a Mediafire link down below. So if you need it, you can go ahead and grab that. So let's see what this thing comes with. So like I mentioned, it's a 3-axis brushless gimbal, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. It's made out of metal and carbon fiber, and as you can tell here, it does have some dampening. So the way this thing would connect to your quadcopter is you would set this up for, let's pretend this is the helping hands here is the quadcopter's payload bay. So it'd be connected to this, and those are connected to this bottom plate. And the upper plate here, which is the gimbal here, is connected to the bottom plate with these dampeners. So you do have some dampening, which is really nice. And I did test this here in the shop and here on the table, and it performs spectacular. I really did enjoy it. So smooth, so beautiful. But that's all I can really say here down on the table. We're gonna have to wait until we connect this up to a quadcopter, which will be upcoming in a later video. So overall, the execution looks absolutely phenomenal, and it's working really great inside. Now let's take a look at some of the components that it comes with and how we would go about setting this up. So one thing they provide you with is this main module here. So this is the main module here, and this is the part that will take your 3 to 6S input from the bottom here. I've connected this connector just to make it easier for this tutorial currently, but this is where it would go to your PDB or whatever. And this would output 5 volts to your receiver, so your receiver end also has the input for your receiver, so you can control this, and also has another port right here to allow you to connect to the PC. Now everything is provided here, which is really nice. I only had to bring my camera and a receiver, and I was good to go. So let's go ahead and connect the USB to serial adapter that they provided us with, and I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in just right here. Alright, so it goes right here, and you're not gonna mix up and match because each pin is completely different sizing. And if we take a look at the other side here, they also provide you 2 PWM inputs and 2 extra non-used wires for something. I have no idea what these are used for. It didn't really mention. This is for PWM2, which we're not going to be using. And the 3 that are together in a servo type connector there would be, the yellow would be the S-Bus signal input, the brown one is the ground, and the red one is the 5 volts. Now, if you're using Spectrum, be careful because this outputs 5 volts. You'll probably burn your receiver. So we're good because I'm using an X4R here. So that's all set and done, and it's connected to my receiver right there. And let's see what else we need to do. We need to connect the main module to the gimbal here. All right, so we're setting that perspective. Now I'm gonna apply power. Now something very important about applying power to this. For some reason, you have to make sure that it's like this back part to be just straight back, and this would be like this as much as possible, or else it'll keep doing this weird reboot. So we're gonna go ahead and plug this guy in. And there we go. Now, out of the box, it's not set to S-Bus, and that's why we're going to have to connect it to the PC. And what you do is you connect it via micro USB here. And let's go ahead and jump to the PC now. Alright guys, so once you go ahead and connect the gimbal and open up the software, you should see a page like this. Everything's in Chinese, but don't worry, if you take a closer look, you'll see the word language, and then you have to go to language, and that basically means please restart the application. So now we switch it to English, close it, we're going to reopen it now. And everything should be in English, so that's awesome. So first thing you want to do is you want to click the refresh button here, make sure it's connected and it's booted up, and then we're going to go to COM, whatever the COM is. Now I know on mine it's COM 43, so I'm going to go ahead and choose COM 43 and connect. And you should see everything change here. Now in the beginning it's usually on convention, which is possibly, I think, PWM. Alright, so what you want to do is you want to go here and you want to change it to S-Bus. If you're using S-Bus like me, I'm using Hakcrc S-Bus, and that's what I did here. Next thing you want to go is the default mode. Now I kept it on FPV, so default mode, it automatically defaults to FPV, which means it'll follow the quad. If you turn right, it'll go right with you, so you don't lose orientation if that's your main camera on board. Everything else I left default. I didn't touch any of this. This is all just perfect, so I didn't have to do anything in that perspective. And here, this is the interesting part. Now, the channel mapping to do what? This is the most important part after all this. So let's just do right to flash. Let's write everything to the flash here. So S-Bus, FPV, leave everything default here. You can play with this stuff later on. All right, so here, this is important. Now we need tilt, mode, and pan. So mode is going to be either FPV mode, which means it'll follow you, and then pan mode, which means it'll just keep the tilt to wherever you placed it. And I'll show you that in a little bit. So we're gonna set this up. I'm gonna set this up on channel 7 on my transmitter, and then I just set up a channel 7 on my Horus or Hakcrc. I'm not gonna get into that stuff. So if you don't know how to set up channels, just go ahead and make a search online. You'll probably figure it out. And you probably already know if you're going to be doing this anyways. So I set it up on channel 7, and then for tilt, I'm using the pitch axis, what would usually be on a quadcopter, just to show you a nice perspective of how to control it. You can use the sliders if you have a Horus. So I'm going to use channel 3 here, and if I move my transmitter here, I can actually see this really happening live right now. So it's really nice to see this. So we have our tilt, and then we have our pan. So that's perfect. So I'm going to keep them like that. And I'm going to go ahead and write to flash. Now, if we take a look at the gimbal, all right, so let's go ahead and click run gimbal. And that should have the gimbal started up. Now it's in FPV mode, as you can tell right there. Now, if I move my stick to the right, it's going to go to the right of the quad, which would be your left right now. And so it's really nice in that perspective. So this is FPV mode. So if I tilt up and let go, it'll come back down. Now, if I switch over to pan mode, and then I'm going to tilt down, it's not going to come back down. As you can tell, it just stayed right there. And if I switch it back to FPV mode, it'll come back to exactly where the front of the quadcopter is, which is really nice. So let's take a closer look at the controls in my hand. Alright, so I've gone ahead and removed the wires a little bit, so I can bring in my transmitter here, and you can kind of get an idea of what's going on. So what I did is I put the tilt on pitch right here, as you can tell. So this is an FPV mode. If I let go, it'll always come back. So, and then if I switch over to pan mode, which is pan mode now, and I put it all the way down, it'll stay right there. But if I go right, it'll keep right, as you can tell right there. So I'm gonna go back to FPV mode, which is really nice. So if you want to do a nice little cinematic, just hold it very slightly, and it'll just move very nicely right there, as you can tell. I don't have the smoothest hands right now, but yeah, you can see that. So it's really nice in that perspective. So yeah, I also found a little glitch. If you go all the way, let's just say to the right, and then before you allow it to come all the way back like that, so if you go like this, and then you go immediately to the other side, it's a little, I think it's a software bug here. But to be honest, I do not want to play around with updating the current software because it seems like it's running really good, and that's not really bothering me. So I should just be very careful with doing that. So overall, I mean, it's really nice, and it handles its positions very well. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick it into pan mode here, and then we're just gonna set this up like so, and then I'm gonna start playing with this. So I am really impressed with this. As you can tell, it's keeping that exact mode right there. Can you see that? It's handling very well. I actually was recording this earlier, and it's just beautiful. Really, it's really nice actually. So I'm really impressed with this, and I'm very happy that I accidentally got this one instead of the Heroes, the session sized one. And I'll be picking that one up as well, also hopefully very soon. I'm gonna try to actually request that one, and I'll do a setup video just like this one. So, you know, basically all you have to do now is route the S-Bus input to 2 places. You're gonna have to route the S-Bus input, and we'll get into that when we're building. The S-Bus is gonna, one S-Bus wire is gonna have to go in here. You can just splice it into 2 wires. One will go in there, and then another one will go into your flight controller. So your flight controller will take the channels that it needs, and these will be on the auxiliary extra channels here. So it'll be very nice and neat to set up. I don't know if iNav has control for gimbals, but I'll probably look into that, and we'll see how well that does, because I've never used iNav before, but once I see it, I'll know for sure what I can do with it. So overall, it's really that simple to use, and it's really nice. I'm really impressed with the quality of it, and how to set this up. And its maximum operating voltage, I mean, to keep, let's just take a look here. I've never seen it exceed more than 600 milliamps. So even under like very harsh conditions, like really solid movements, like right now it's not bypassing 140 milliamps right now. It's just on between 90 milliamps and 100 milliamps, which is really nice. It's really efficient, and it's using brushless motors. But maybe, I don't know how, these might be a little bit too soft, but you can easily find different ones. But I don't know. I'm just saying that now. Until I take it out in the field, then I'll know for sure. So it's going to be pretty interesting and pretty awesome. So far, this thing is absolutely simple to set up. I thought it was just going to be super crazy hard and stuff, but it turns out to be really nice, and it's really satisfying. Like I just spent an hour yesterday just playing with it like this, and recording and stuff. So I really want to put this on a car also, an RC car. But I don't want to break it. I don't know how durable it would be, and it'd have to be mounted upside down to go on an RC car. So that'll be pretty interesting also. I did try to mount it upside down. It does work, but not on an RC car, just on this same stand here. So overall, it's a really nice one. It's really good, and that's all I can currently say. And it's just really easy to set up. Just choose the channels, make sure you put the S-Bus input, and you should be good to go. And I didn't really have to do much here. Just set up my channels. And I didn't even have to set up the channels because I'm using these to control, but you might want to use, like, your sliders here to control, which way it goes, or maybe these here. So that's up to you, or maybe even another transmitter with your friend with you. I don't know how you guys want to do that, but overall it's really simple to set up, and it seems to be really good from just me using it here. And well, I'll leave a link to it down below, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Also check out the Firefly 8S camera. It's really awesome. I'll have a video upcoming very soon with the review on it, especially with this setup here. And I'm picking up a couple more of these because they're so good, and I just want to do a nice little shootout review, which is going to be pretty interesting. And well, that's it, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. I really hope someone found it useful. If you guys have any questions or any suggestions, feel free to let me know, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out, guys.